Virgo rising, you are having a new moon and you're all about releasing those emotional wounds from the past, about your health and your well-being, Virgo. This can have to do with your mental well-being. Aries energy in the 8th house. So it's wounds about my body, but it's emotional. They're deeply buried emotional wounds about my body. Ego, hidden ego tendencies. You may find that, somebody crushed your ego at one time. And so there might be some old wounds there, right? But the beautiful thing about having anything in the 8th house, especially a new beginning in your 8th house, it says you're taking these new wounds and you're transforming them. You're not just transforming them, but when they're in the 8th house, this is the phoenix. So it transcends them. It has the ability to rise. It has the ability to raise up and become the eagle and to fly very high and to understand, oh, wow, these wounds that I have, look, I can take them and this is what they've created in me. I now have all this wisdom. I now have all this knowledge. I now have all these battle scars from being battle tested that says, I made it. And now I've got all this knowledge and I can share and I can lead. I can show others how I didn't allow these wounds to keep me down, how I could take these wounds and move forward and live. I can release them. Right? Release them in a creative way. That's my recommendation because it's the 8th house. These are shared wounds. These are wounds that are possibly with family members. These are shared wounds that could be from a past life, if you believe in that sort of thing, or maybe when you were from really, really, really young and you don't remember it. But remember, they're energetic, emotional wounds. They're very deep, so they may come up at times when you least expect it, likely when someone presses on a button. Ask yourself the question, why did I react so strongly the way that I reacted? The goal here is to let what's down below come up because that's the 8th house. It's the Roto-Rooter, right? That's the Roto-Rooter in the zodiac. The 8th house says, okay, there's all this buried stuff and it needs to purge. It needs to come up. And that's what you want it to do. Because if it doesn't come up to the surface, you'll never be able to address it. You'll never be able to see it. But remember, this is a wound about your appearance, about your body, possibly a wound to your head, possibly a wound to your ego. But this is the time of setting a new intention of what you're going to do with that wound. Are you just going to let it beat you up? Are you going to let it hold you down? Are you going to do something with it? Are you going to go forward and do a creative form of release and then show others how even though you were wounded, you're taking that wound and you're saying, look at me, I can now share this and then we can heal together. So it's not just about me. You go to the other side and you make it about we. I want to know. I want to hear your story. I want you to talk about your story. I want you to talk about your deep emotional wounds. Keep this in mind, Virgo. This is, there can be some dark, deep, really powerful, intense stuff that comes up. And, just be prepared that it's healthy. It's a matter of learning how to control it when it happens and how to channel it, like what to do with it. Giving it a creative outlet will be the way to go. Okay. And so if it's in your 8th house, get your paintbrushes out, maybe some music, maybe some creative writing. This is the 8th house of Scorpio energy. Scorpio is super, super, super creative. Get whatever your medium is. It could be sound. It could be music. If it's Aries, it's going to be doing something creative with the body. Yes, something creative with the body. That's also Scorpio energy. But you can figure out other ways to be creative. Performance arts, right? There's lots of different ways. And maybe you're thinking, well, gee, my wound is about my body physically. If I physically have a wound in my body, I can't do performance art. People who are blind, people who can't walk, people who don't have any limbs, they figure that out, right? There are ways. I don't have the answers as to what all those ways are, but there are others who've done it. Help process these things by giving them an outlet. Okay, this is what you want to do. And this new moon gives you the power to make this wish, to say, okay, I know I've got those things. I know I haven't processed them, but I'm going to give them a place and a time, and I'm going to honor myself. I'm going to have times, and then understanding the connection between the emotions and the mental and the thoughts and how that affects the body-mind connectivity, the body-mind vitality.